Right, I'm now going to, as chairman, I'm now going to hand over to Kieran, who's going to introduce our next two speakers.
Thank you, Graham. There's a lot more about the Aras Principia mission tomorrow in the talks, but we were very lucky in being able to ask Jessica and Polly, Jessica M6LPJ and Polly M6POG, to come along today. One of the things that we tried to do with the series of contacts with Tim Peake was that we wanted it to be the story of the students learning and discovering science, radio, and everything else. And what we've asked Polly and Jessica to do is a little bit about their story and what it has led on to for the last 6-7 months. So without further ado, I shall pass over to Jessica and Polly.
Obviously, as you've heard, I'm Polly and this is Jessica. We're from Sandringham School in St Albans, and we were both involved in the first ever radio contact with Tim Peake at our school, which happened on the 8th of January, I believe, very early in the morning.
So it all started really with an email from my head teacher asking around the school whether anyone wanted to be involved in the Space Festival that was being held, because the contact took place on the Friday, but throughout that whole week we were doing space-related activities to try and get pupils interested in science and space involved. So as you can see, I wrote an email. I replied back to the email saying that I would like to take part in the Space Festival. And it was, my head teacher wanted 4 different groups of people being involved, and then one person to be the station controller. And I said that I'd like to be a part of the teams, but I wouldn't mind being the station controller, as it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And then I got the position, which was absolutely fantastic. But my head teacher was like, yeah, well, you can do it, but you're going to have to do an exam. And this was the foundation exam so I could operate radio equipment. And then I got Polly involved, so she could also get the license along with Emma, M6GJQ, who also now operates radio equipment. And we did the course in about a week, so it was very crammed, so we did it consecutively for about a week, cramming in everything as we could, and then we took the exam on the weekend, which we all passed, which is brilliant.
So then obviously we had the actual contact, which most of you probably saw. Kieran was there. He did it all. We talked to Tim Peake. It was kind of a bit shaky at first, but we did get there in the end. And it was a once in a lifetime experience, and we actually didn't realise how big it was going to be. I mean, this was just one little role that Jessica could apply for, and obviously she got it, but we didn't realise the massive impact it would have and all the media, and it did get us really interested in it as well, because we didn't realise that obviously this existed. Obviously in school we hadn't talked about radio before, and this showed us that there's this whole new world of communication that we had no idea about, and it was so interesting that we could actually speak to someone in space from our school. So that kind of stemmed so much interest and got us involved, and then that kind of progressed our journey on.
It was so much more than us 3 being involved in space and radio, because as you can see we had a live audience, and from that you felt the atmosphere in the room. They were very excited, and from then there's been more people getting involved with science in the school and more interested. So it's been great to see sort of the ripple effect that 3 students can have. Yeah, and from here the wire's been cut off, but from here we set up a radio club at our school, so that so it started off with us 3, Emma, Polly and I, but we've got about 10 license holders now. So they recently took an exam maybe about a month back, and they all passed but one. This boy just missed off by 1 mark, but he's going to be retaking it. So our call sign for our school is M0SCY. So if you hear us, that's us. We're on Tuesday
lunchtime, yeah.
Yes, so to keep us interested in radio, Kenwood actually gave us 3 little handhelds. So we have, the radio club have a sked on Mondays, so we all talk, which is quite nice to keep us interested. And as you can see, there's Polly talking to someone over radio, and we log it all online on the database as well, so we keep track of it.
So we originally, after people had got their licenses, we did a contest first of all, so we could see what other stuff was available through amateur radio. So Jessica took part in the first contest, and how many contacts did you like?
So we thought we got 30 or 31, but because it was the first one, we didn't actually realise you needed both serial numbers. So we were only really saying ours and not logging the ones that they gave us. So we only logged about 16, but we have done a second radio contact since then, and we got 47.
Yes, we got quite a few more. And also, because we were the first contact of 10, obviously there were more after, and our head teacher decided it'd be really interesting if we could listen into Tim Peake's conversations with other schools. So we've got the one on the top right here, which was, I'm not sure what school it was, about the fourth school, quite late in the evening. So we all came into school and we listened to him, we could tune in and hear what he was saying and their questions. And then here we did a kind of bigger thing in the school to get more people involved. There was, I think, about 40 students we got involved. We were on the field. We had this antenna that they kept on turning. We had people shouting at out the azimuth and like bossing them around to move it. So they would. I was proud. I was happy to shout at them. So they were all turning it so that we could get the best reception and hear everything that he was saying and the other contacts and questions he had with schools.
So it's on the one on the top right. It was just very simple, just seeing if we could actually hear Tim. And the other two were a lot bigger scale, so we wanted to involve some science. So we were seeing the Doppler effect in action, so I was tuning the radio, but also switching between an omnidirectional aerial and a Yagi, and seeing which one had better reception, and we discovered that it was the Yagi because it's directional.
Okay, so then this has also stemmed from it. We didn't really have many pictures, so there's a selfie in the top left. From this, we were invited to speak at the Big Bang Fair, the Eastern one, about our involvement with amateur radio. And the big picture here is our stands that we had to show like our whole journey with amateur radio and how much our school has done. And we actually ended up winning a prize. We won Best STEM Communicator, so now we're on to the national Big Bang Fair. And it just kind of showed us, when we were there, we saw all this other amazing science and STEM-based projects, and it kind of showed us, you know, how much there is out there based on STEM and how much there is on radio, and just to get more. And then obviously Kieran also invited us a couple of weeks ago to go to the Farnborough show and speak with him about it, and I was wearing a spacesuit, which was actually incredibly comfy.
And from the Tim Peake link up and all our involvement in radio and the different projects we've been doing, I was invited to 10 Downing Street to visit the Prime Minister and Tim Peake. So it was a pretty amazing experience. So I was there for about 2 hours, and I spoke to the Prime Minister, explained what we have been doing and how the link up has impacted our school in a positive way. And then I had about a 15-minute conversation with Tim, doing the same thing, explaining. So it's been a brilliant year. A lot has happened in the short amount of time, and I actually met 2 other astronauts. So the First Lady in Space, Helen, and an Italian astronaut as well. So that it's been pretty great experience. Yeah. So we have 2 videos now. Hopefully they This is listening to Tim.
The other contacts that he had. This was the school. Oh, is there sound? Do we have sound?
Yeah.
Then it starts the questions. Running a bit late. And it's not quite overseas talking to you as well. About to do the station.
Music around the fence.
Zach, 285 azimuth for no motion. 280. Bravo, Golf Bravo 1, Oscar Sierra, Mike, Golf Bravo 1, Sierra, Sierra, I read you 519, I'll be over. Good morning everybody in the King's School in Ottery, St Mary and Devon. It's great to talk to you this morning. I'm ready for the first question, over.
Elevation 4.
Yes, good morning everybody at King's School, Ottery in Devon. Ottery St Mary in Devon. I'm ready for the first question, over. Hi Lara, you know we're a small crew of 6 up here, but we celebrate events by having a meal together and having some of our special food. That's a nice way to celebrate events, and of course we can always call friends and family as well. Over. Hi Harry, my favourite thing to do are forward somersaults. There's lots of fun. I think I'm up to 20 now in a row before I bump into something, so I've got a private competition going with myself. Over.
We were discovering how the reception changes based on the frequency we were on, which is based on Tim's location. So it was really interesting to see science in action rather than just watching it. We were actually doing it, which was good. Then we have a second video. I think it's just a follow-up on it. Yeah.
Nice and soft because they're made of 100% cotton, which is a safe material to wear in case there's a fire. So space stoves are nice and soft. Over.
Gents, what's the bearing?
236, azimuth, 21.
Hi Libby, no I never get lonely because there's always so much to do up here, and as well as working with my crewmates, we're talking every day to mission control centres all around the world, so we get to speak to lots of other people as well. Over.
25 degrees.
Hi Grace, if it wasn't attached to a piece of string, it would float around pretty much like it would on Earth, because the air would blow it around. Over?
Yeah, come in.
Come on, girls. Come on.
What is she talking about? What would...
So,
Oh no, wait, wrong one. Oh, that's there.
yeah, so that's the end of our presentation. So if you have any questions,
We
does
would
anyone
love to
have any
answer
questions?
Great. No, that's good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. As I said, one of the central themes that we set out to do was that it was not about us, the ARIS team, doing things, but actually about introducing a new generation to science, technology, and radio itself. I don't know if you noticed it, but they built their own azimuth elevation rotator. Okay, it was manual, but it was still through the encouragement of their head teacher, Alan Gray, who was a phenomenal figure, has basically challenged them, and they ended up doing all of this in front of the school. So basically combining an awful lot of their school subjects together to achieve an end goal. And I think you can both, and Emma as well, be immensely proud of what you've done, and definitely keep it up.
We're also hoping to carry on moving up.
Get our intermediate
Yeah.
license.
Yes, so about pretty much all of us who have our foundation want to have our intermediate and
Keep on learning.
eventually our full.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we have the ARIS station across in the room.
Yeah.
There are a couple of satellite passes coming up, so if you want to, you're welcome to have a go and add that to your logbook.
We do have a question.
Okay.
Go and show Kieran how it works.
We're going to show Kieran how it works.
Hello, Ken from Wales. Actually, just to let you know that we heard you in Wales. I was listening in South Wales with school children standing in a playground there. So congratulations, and I will give you a QSL card each just for hearing you. Good luck and well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I heard you guys as well in a field, actually in Guildford, just randomly, out in at 1 degree C. My question, though, is what do you want to... Can you remember what you wanted to do before... in life, before you'd actually done your Tim Peake contact? And what do you want to do now?
Well, I have always wanted to work in science, which is partly why I got involved with the Space Festival, because it's another realm of science. But it's definitely opened my eyes because in school we learn chemistry, biology, and physics, and that's it. It's separated into 3. But from there, there's so many other branches. So it's definitely opened my eyes to that, and I'm very interested now in astrophysics and space. So it's definitely a possibility for me to go into those fields when I'm older.
He's a good man to remember because he's Surrey Satellites and University of Surrey. So Chris Bridges is a good man to remember.
Could be your professor.
Any other questions, folks? Yep.
Thank you. Congratulations on your contact with Tim Peake. I heard the downlink in your conversation from Leicestershire, and I also recorded it. And I did a Principia lecture to Year 4/5s in Yorkshire, and I played some of the audio from Tim Peake there. And they were inspired not so much by the science and technology, but about the images of space and the ISS and so on, and they wrote little essays about being, being an astronaut and all the rest of it. And while they were busy doing this, I sort of went out into the corridor, and one of them said to me, "Oh, do you know Tim Peake?" And I said, "Well, I kind of know of him." And he says, "Is he your friend?" And I said, "Well, yeah, well, have you been to where he works?" And I said, "Well, I've been to where he works, but he wasn't actually there." And then she said, "Oh, but he's in your group then, is he?" So Tim Peake is in my group now. And at Farnborough, I was very pleased to tell him that, because I met him in that morning on the Friday, I think, when you were there. So just a little observation that your inspiration goes beyond science, but into art and culture and all the rest of it that is part of space exploration. Thank you very much.
Okay. And we've seen that inspiration in art, especially because there was a project going around in school during the time of the contact, and a lot of children produced excellent pieces of artwork on space, and we actually gave Tim Peake a picture that one of the girls in Year 9 painted, so he has that as well, just to show that it goes beyond STEM into art and drama and it's other subjects.
And importantly, the next generation as well, because you also went up to Otley. Was it
Cologne.
Cologne.
I went to Cologne.
Cologne.
Yes, so I was invited along with 2 other girls. So it was more about the Space to Earth challenge rather than the actual link up with Tim Peake. But we saw how other schools have been getting involved with Space to Earth, and there was just so many different people. But we actually set up a triathlon, because it was based about triathlon, and the aim was to cycle, run and swim 400 kilometres, so to Tim Peake, on the ISS, and I think we got something like 1,802 kilometres, so that we definitely exceeded that, but it was great to go around the MVHAB and the Rehabilitation Centre as well as the ESA, so it's been a good year.
Good. I tweeted something not that long ago, which was a simple phrase: light their imagination and see what they can do. And I hope you'll agree with me that these girls have really taken that to heart. The school has taken it to heart, and I think It's done a brilliant job, so well done, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you back here anytime.
Thank you.